Now let's start off by learning what is strings in Java. So we already know that string is a reference data type and it is already predefined unlike other non-primitive data types in Java. But let's learn some of the more characteristics of this string. So in Java, string is a sequence of characters. So basically a string will contain different characters which are combined together and put into a string. Strings are immutable, which means you cannot change a string once it is created. We can create a string, but it creates an object of type string. We can create and manipulate strings with the help of string class. So the string class in Java provides you with different string methods to manipulate your strings. We are going to look at all of those methods in our subsequent sessions. Two strings can be combined by using a plus operator. Now, if you remember from our operators session, we used a plus operator to add two numbers, but we can also use a plus operator to add two strings in Java. Now let's look at an example where we can combine two strings. So there are two strings. One is S1, which contains a text learning Java. The other is S2, which contains the text basics. Now we create a third string, which is S3, and we write S1 plus S2, right? So what it will basically do is it will combine the S1 string with S2 string, and the output will look something like learning Java basics. Now this combining of two strings is also known as string concatenation. So we can add different strings by using the plus operator. Next, we'll look at some of the string methods which are commonly used in Java. Now let's learn about the different string methods available in Java. To do this, let's consider a string S1 which contains this text learning Java, and we'll manipulate this string with the help of different methods which are present in Java. So let's look at our first method, which is the length method, and it returns the length of the string. So in our case, the length of the string is 13, but if you count the number of characters, it's actually 12. Now, the length method, it includes the whitespace character which is present in between strings, right? So if you look at learning Java, there is a whitespace here, and the length will actually count the whitespace also. So that's why even if there are 12 characters, the total length of the string is 13. The next method is to uppercase, and it simply converts the string to uppercase. So all the characters will be converted into uppercase characters. Similarly, to lowercase will convert the string to lowercase characters. The next is index of, and we need to specify a specific character for which we want to find the position in the specified string, right? So it will return you the position of the character which you have specified in the method of the particular string. So in our case, we have mentioned A, and the position of this character is 2. Now just remember that index always starts from 0 and it doesn't start from 1. And that's why if you look at our string, the A is at the second position, starting from 0, which is L, E as 1, and A is at second position. Next method is char at. It returns the character at specified index. So once we specify a particular index, it will return you the character which is present at that particular index. So in our case, we have mentioned the index 5. And if you look at our string, at fifth index or position, the I character is present, and that's what our output will be. The next method is equals. So it just compares two strings. So our given string versus what is specified inside our method. So we have specified Python. It compares this Python with learning Java. And obviously, both are different. That's why the output will be false. If both matches, the output will be true. And the final method is called the trim method. So it simply removes all the white space from both ends of a string. So if some white space is present at the beginning of the string and at the end of the string, it will remove all those white space from the particular string. Now let's create a class to implement all the string methods which we discussed earlier. So go to the source folder, right click, select new, click on Java class, and here write sample string as the class name. Hit enter to create the class, and inside this write your main method. So public static void main. Inside this, let's create a string. So string s1 equals to learning Java. So we'll use the same example which we discussed earlier. And now we'll print all the different output which is generated from the different methods which we will use. So let's create the system.out.println, and inside this we'll write our first method which is length. So it will print the length of the string. Similarly, we'll create different system.out.println, and inside this we'll write our different methods. So the next method is uppercase, which will convert the string into uppercase, and the next is lowercase, so which will convert the string to all the lowercase characters. And our next method is the char at. So here we need to specify the index for which we want to derive the character. So we will say the index 5. It will return the character which is at position 5. And the next is index of. So it will return the index of the specified character. So we'll specify here A. We also need to specify quotes, otherwise it will not recognize that it's a character and it will throw an error. So our next method is equals to compare to string. So let's use the equals method, and here we'll type Python, which should return false. So these are all the methods which we want to test. Now let's execute this and see whether the output is similar to what we expect. So right click on the class, run it, and in the console you will see all the output. So the length is 13. It's converted all to uppercase, similar to lowercase. The character at fifth index is I. The index of A is 2, and the equals method returns false. So all of the output which we discussed earlier, it's the same, and this is how you implement different string methods to manipulate your strings in Java.